Hello and welcome back to George's Gaming Guide. I'm Breaking Dad, and today we're doing one of the new LEGO Technic sets that's released on the 1st of March this year. And it's the Mercedes-AMG F1 W14 E-Performance, so a bit of a mouthful. The set number is actually 42171 and comes with 1642 pieces, so it is quite a large set. The car itself is actually based on last year's F1 car, and it's actually a 1/8 scale model of that. And because of that, it's 63 centimetres, 25 inches long, 26 centimetres, 10 inches wide, and 5 inches or 13 centimetres tall. So it's quite a big car. It's going to be interesting to see how this looks compared to last year's McLaren, because they are supposed to be based on the same year. So that's going to be quite good. I am really looking forward to building this. As I say, I am a fan of Mercedes, so it's nice to get this set. So if I have a quick look at the box, yes, I think the artwork is fantastic. I like the fact that they've actually, instead of having the normal white sort of haze behind the pictures that they do now, it's got the blue, so it matches up with the livery of the car. And if we have a look at the back, so down here you've got the measurements. Looks like they've actually used clear engine blocks, so you can see the pistons going up and down a lot easier. On this picture, it's showing the steering wheel sort of looking down towards the front wing, and then the bit I'm quite impressed with is you've actually got the real car and the LEGO Technic car next to each other, and they do actually look a lot like each other. I think they've picked up the detail of this car really, really well. The other thing as well that they've incorporated, which I don't think was on the McLaren actually, was you've got the removable wings for the DRS or drag reduction system. So I do like the way they've done that. One thing I'm not keen on, and they've hidden it quite well to be honest, but I probably will remove it, is you've got this little cog on the top here, which is for steering it. Now it's not going to be steered at all, it's just going to be on a shelf or probably wall mounted. So I won't need that, so I'll take that off because it's not part of the proper car. But I think overall this looks absolutely amazing. So I think let's get this built and have a look at the review. Right, just before I go into the actual build of this set, there's a couple of things I wanted to show you. One is the excessive amount of stickers. There's actually 74 different stickers. It's going to take me quite a while to do these because you can see both sides of the car at the same time, so I'm going to try and get them all perfectly straight. So it does take me a little bit longer, but yeah, that's a lot of stickers. It's about the same as was on the BMW that's at the back there, so it's yeah, not looking forward to that bit. One thing that is really nice is the manual you get with this. So it's pretty thick, as you'd expect. I mean, 1,500 pieces is quite a lot, but it still is very thick. It's probably because of the amount of Technic that's in it. But the inside of this is fantastic. So we've got a look of the real car and the LEGO version. So again, sort of testimony as to how close the two actually look. There's a little feature on the performance in detail of the car. So again, you've got pictures of the Technic car and then some details of the Formula 1 team. On the next page it's got 1 million hours, so looks like there's been 1 million hours going into the design of the car. Not sure about the next one with build together, race together for the two different models, because yeah, they look good, but you wouldn't actually race them together. And then you've got a bit about the designer, and again a bit more about the team. And one ridiculous fact about when they did this car, so they didn't just do the black because it actually looked good. They did the black because the basic carbon fibre colour of black is lighter than having to paint the car. So they actually save weight, which, yeah, considering how little they'd actually save, that's just crazy. So it shows the finite details that go into these fantastic cars. But yeah, so let's get straight on with it. have the finished set, and it just looks amazing. I think the detail they've put into this, with all the different angles and everything, the engineering to create those details is amazing. There's no special pieces in this. They're all very standard Lego pieces. But the way they managed to put them together to create the really specific angles of the bodywork is unbelievable. Made it quite a difficult build, so it's not the easiest to build. But overall, it's brilliant. So if we have a look at some of the details, you will notice all the stickers are on it. There were 75 stickers, I believe, which for this size of set works out about one sticker every 22 pieces. So it's quite a lot of stickers. And a lot of them are, you can see them on both sides at the same time, so you have to try and get them sort of as straight as possible. But I think I did a reasonable job on that. So if we start off at the front of the car with the all-important front wing, so I think the design, although it's only sort of 3 levels, they've actually, with the stickers, tried to make it look like it's got all the levels are actually on the proper car. The side end plates is probably the only bit that I'm not keen on, but with the standard pieces they had, that's probably about as good as they could do. But I still think it looks really good. The one bit I wasn't too keen on is the little front bit of the nose here, because that comes off really too easily. It's literally held on by 3 studs, and when we first built the car, or when I first built the car, I'd lost that, didn't even realise, because it came off so easily. But as I say, it's going to be on a shelf, it shouldn't move, but if you're going to move it around, I think that's the weak point of this set. Probably could have done with somewhere putting a rod through it or something to make sure it didn't fall off. As I say again, the design of the bodywork with all the panels on the inside and the angles they have here, I think it's phenomenal. I think the stickers work really well. It's a really good representation of what the car was last season. I love it. The one thing that I would have liked Lego to have done is they've given us slick tyres this time. So on the McLaren it was the wet weather tyres, but it would have been nice to have some printing on the rubber tyres to show what compound it was. I know on the McLaren they sort of cheated and they put it on the disc that went around it, but it would have been nice to have something on the tyres so they just weren't plain, because you don't see plain tyres in Formula 1. But that's not a big issue. It would have just been a nice to have. So coming down to the sort of the plate at the bottom of it, again, they've got the shape of it pretty much right. So they've got all the sort of aero grills at the front of it, and the angles going into the side pods, I think just works really well. It's a bit hard to see this because it is black, and so it's not the best of things to show details against, but I think it works really well. You do have this little steering knob on the top. I was tempted to take it off, but to be honest, I think it actually gets hidden quite well, so I'm not sure. Well, if I do hang it on the wall, I might, because it's brown on top rather than black, so I might take that off just so it doesn't really show up that it's brown. But again, doesn't really detract from it. I think the way they've done the aero on the top here is really good. Even the fin sort of works, despite there being a gap there where it is. The intake behind the driver's head, I think, looks really good and stands out nicely, like it does on the actual car. The seat is quite basic, but does what it needs to do. Now, the one bit, another bit that sort of wasn't keen on this was the steering wheel. So the steering wheel itself, there's not an issue. But to get the wheels straight, the steering wheel is always off. And even in the instruction manual, it shows you to have it angled slightly, so it looks like it's not actually possible to get it dead straight. But again, not going to be a big issue. I think it's not out enough to really make it much of an issue. So again, going down to the side pods, I think the way they've got the angle for this one going underneath, because this was the quite unique design of the Mercedes last year. The suspension on both wheels is done really well, so it's not majorly stiff, but it's stiff enough to actually sort of be a bit like the Formula 1 car, so it doesn't actually move that much, especially at the rear. At the back, I think they've done the lights a lot better than they did on the McLaren. I think the McLaren one actually came off quite easily, and I've just broken a bit off there, so sorry about that. It's not, the bit I've just broken off isn't a bad design, it's just where I picked it up. There you go. And the wing itself, as I say, it's got loads and loads of stickers on it, and it has actually got the DRS option, so you can actually open the rear wing. So again, I think that's quite nice. It's yeah, I think it's just nice that you can actually put it in either position. It is actually quite nice in the DRS position as well. So it's but overall, I love this set. It's, as I think the way they've designed it with the angles and everything, it's just the engineering that's gone into this is mind blowing. As I say, there were awkward bits where you had to sort of get your fingers inside to get the pins on, or the pins are really awkward to get in because they're actually underneath something when you're trying to put second part on. But it worked. It did what it's supposed to do. Now there is one other function on this that I haven't shown yet, is that the cover at the back, so the engine cover, actually just lifts off. It's just got 4 pins in it, so you can see the engine on the inside. Because as LEGO like to do, they've made it so you can actually see the pistons going up and down. So this is the 6-cylinder turbo engine that they use nowadays. There's no gearing or anything on this car. They've left it very simple, that literally you've got the one gear, and that powers the engine, so you can just see how it's working. So they're not gone to the extremes of the supercars they do, where they actually have all the gearbox and everything. But then saying that, there probably must have been the room in this, because there's not a lot of room on the inside. But I think it's done quite well, and the way they've pivoted the back, so when you actually put it back on, it just sits down, so it goes to a really nice angle. So again, that shape of the car again, almost perfect. And yeah, it's definitely one I'd recommend for anyone's collection. And the difference they've made in a year since the McLaren, I think is huge. I'm going to bring the McLaren out in just a minute so we can show you the two. Oh, so I'm actually breaking it again. It's my own fault. I for some reason pulled it off. I've got my fingers behind it. These are all the spares you get, which, considering how many Technic pieces there are, I thought it was actually quite low. Not an issue. You know, all the bits were there that we needed. I just thought it's quite strange, because a lot of sets you get huge amounts of spare pieces, but they kept it to a bare minimum on this one. So if we bring out last year's model, so the McLaren, and I say the McLaren does look really, really good. But it also, when you compare it to the Mercedes, looks a bit blocky. So yes, they've got the angles quite well. I think the side pods, it's a shame where they've got these gaps in here. I say when it's on the wall you don't really see that, because you just see it from the top. But as I thought it was fantastic design last year, but when you compare it to the Mercedes, I think they've done a much better job of the Mercedes getting those angles nice and all the gaps filled in. The halo as well, I think the way they've done it on the Mercedes, it's a lot simpler. It's just one of the pipe pieces that sort of bends around. But I think it actually works better, and I think it just looks more like the proper one does. So, I mean, I do recommend this. I do love the McLaren, but if you could only get one of them, it wouldn't be this one for me. Now, I am a fan of Mercedes, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. But out of the two, this is the one for me to put in the collection. Just because I think it's that, if they release a year later, perhaps they spend a lot more time with the team, or just the designers spend more time on it. But I think the way they've manufactured all the angles on this, it just looks so much like the proper car. So yeah, so this is definite for anyone's collection. So I really hope that's been insightful, and we'll see you soon. I really hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, I'd love to know your comments, see what you think about the car, irrespective of you're a Mercedes fan or not. Please give me a like and subscribe to George's channel, and watch out for next Sunday's video, which is going to be George's review of the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars, The Invisible Hand.